The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always, we'd like to start off the show with a little bit of history. I threw him a little curve today. I started right off with it. Then we'll get into the rest of it. On this day in 1814, Francis Scott Key pins the national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Little did anybody know this was a song set to the tune of a ribald song in the drinking establishment of England. Anyway, the key was inspired by the sight of the lone U.S. flag still flying over Fort McHenry at daybreak, and has penned the now famous words of the Star-Spangled Banner, and the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. He was born on August 1st, 1779, in his family's estate in Frederick County, now Carroll County in Maryland. Became a successful lawyer in Maryland, Washington, D.C., and then later appointed to the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. So but if you want to dig deep, our Star-Spangled Banner song, the original words to it, mature audiences only. I will put it that way. But it goes back to like 1500s or 1600s, a pub song that he had heard before, but just made up the words. But interesting nonetheless. As we move on to the market, it's fairly quiet right now, off a little more than half a point at 24.95.89 for the last tick in the S&P cash. Volume, pretty much what it was yesterday, just a hair under 2 billion shares. We've not gotten enough volume and this move up to confirm any kind of escape velocity to higher markets. In fact, the models that I run show that we are far more stretched than a month ago when the market went down, and that we either need to see some significant volume come in, or we're probably going to see the kind of hiccup that we saw last month, and we could be in the neighborhood of 50 points. We also have quad witching on Friday, and of course with quad witching, a much harder to define market because everything expires, and if you're new to TFNN, it's kind of an interesting, or trading, it is an interesting day in the fact that many of the early futures expire at 9:35 after all, basically 5 minutes after all the stocks open up. But the options, of course, don't expire till the end of the day. But you have literally everything expiring on Friday. And a lot of people tugging at different points in the market. So I don't tend to make a lot of predictions on quad witching for what options are telling us. I'll give you a little indication. But it's one of the ones where you have to kind of step back and think, and it tends to be this way. If we open up lower in the morning, then we tend to close up in the afternoon. If we open up strongly in the morning, we tend to sell off in the afternoon. So it kind of evens out by the end of the day, but you don't have to spend too much out here. Again, you can always call me at 877-927-6648. And of course, I don't have my machine here. We're using the TFNN World Headquarters studio today, so you will have to call me or put a message in the Tiger's Den. Other than that, it's fairly quiet, so we will talk about some of the things. Probably in technology, the biggest news, of course, after Apple's, I'm going to say they whiffed the product announcement. And what was I looking at here last time? The thing was down to, what was it down? Let me find it here. Off $1.80. But Western Digital, of course, has finally lost its bid to buy the memory unit of Toshiba. And in the fairly near future, hard drive companies probably will not exist more than a few more years. If we see Moore's Law continue, that the price drops in half and the capacity doubles every 18 months, that we will continue to see these particularly spinning drive companies continue to see weakness. This basically gapped down on their ability to buy that Toshiba unit of memory. And without it, that's it. Now, I haven't been able to find the absolute articles on this quite yet, and they probably won't spill out for another day or two. But Bain Capital and Apple, as its backer, were trying to buy that Toshiba unit. We talked about this at length last week, which was Apple has a problem in that they don't have multiple sources for a lot of the new components in the new products. And that makes everybody especially wary when you know that one mortar rocket going across the North-South Korea border hitting a Samsung factory would be the end of Apple until they got that production line back up. Apple, of course, doing everything it can to build that capacity now down in Austin, Texas, in a lot of the old Texas Instruments and other kind of hardware manufacturing that used to exist in Austin. They've been able to pick up those installations for a song. But it's still probably, they've got 3,500 engineers down there. The question is just how fast is that hardware going to kick out for Apple? And of course, the first thing that we do know that they're building is the displays. Apple has been kind of rather vocal about how mad they are at Samsung. They think Samsung has kind of put them over a barrel on both memory pricing and the display pricing. If you think, really you're getting to the point now where there isn't much difference between an iPhone and a Samsung phone other than the software. And I think that's going to be like that until some of the new technology that Apple's working on. We're going to talk about one more thing that Apple did yesterday, and when we come back, and it's kind of interesting. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back again. Markets are rather flat, but I'm going to say they're fairly stretched. We're off about a half a point on the S&P cash at 2496. I do suspect that we are at least going to hit 2,500 on the S&P cash. If not before the end of the day, we'll see it tomorrow. And, we might get up to 2510, something like that, and then see what the market reaction is. But, we're just kicking 2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape as we speak. Which is not a big sign. We need something like 5.5 billion shares, and we've been having a lot of days that are around 3 billion and maybe 3.5 billion, both up and down. But there's nothing to say that we aren't in just a larger trading range coming on. But I don't know when it's going to be, but I suspect if we don't see a lot of volume in the next couple of days that we've got 50 to 70 points lower in the S&P, and we're probably going to crack just like we've cracked many times before, and especially last month. So I'm kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop. We were talking about Apple. One of the new things in the Apple iPhone X is a chip. And it's kind of a very interesting chip in that I think we talked about this before, that it is kind of a machine learning, they call it AI, but it's machine learning. There is no artificial intelligence about it. Artificial intelligence may be coming one day, but it doesn't exist in any form whatsoever today. Anyway, machine learning chip in there, and it's kind of interesting. It does some of the pre-processing just to send the image to unlock your phone if you're using that camera. It does a little of the pre-processing, compresses it, and hands it off to servers at Apple to verify your image as the right one to unlock the phone. But it depends on having a connection all the time. And there's been many times where I've been places where, for whatever reason, the connection cuts out, and all I have is cell service. I don't have any of the internet service. And I'm wondering what they're going to do on that. Of course, that product's going to come out a little later. But I talked to many people whether they thought that they would buy this new phone, and I heard a lot of hemming and hawing. I also thought that the reaction this morning, even with a lot of people telling everybody how Apple's going to the moon, was still off another couple of bucks today. I think that's somewhat telling in what's going on. We did have some other news in what was going on, so let me to get to that. We already talked about Western Digital. We've got, I think, some of the phoniest news I've heard in a while, because I just can't believe that anybody's going to do it, but people have done stupider things, and that is Nordstrom. Nordstrom gapped up on some idea that someone's going to come in there and privately buy this company. Why anybody would want to buy a retailer without a plan to go after and make sure they can put a moat around it is beyond me. But it popped up here, $48.11. Again, these stories may be nothing but fluff to run a bunch of shorts out of the market, but you're higher and you've got some decent volume. I wouldn't say this is the worst store out there, and it may have a place in the future. I just don't understand the idea that private interest can go back and eventually make this thing worth buying. You know, we haven't seen the outcome of Dell yet, but that one seemed like another fool's errand. That you could run it private and cook the books long enough to take it public once again and sell those shares off. I think this kind of smells of Dell in that, you know, you got a good name and you got a good company, but everything is going against it. And I don't know how you bring back malls and their importance to shopping in America. No one's shown me a good solution for it yet, and I think this seems to be a little problematic. SNAK is up 25%. It's the big winner. Winner chicken dinner. The Adventure Group. I didn't read the headlines on this, so I will fairly quickly here. We'll take a look at that. Come on. What was it? Do I have it here? I don't see the news on it. Adventure Food beats by 3 cents, misses on revenues. But there's something else going on in this stock that I don't see. But we'll worry about it later. Okay. What's else out here? Ballard Power. And of course, these guys are big in standby power and fuel cells. And I think they're getting a little boost off of the last few days. They're a little tougher to play than GNRC, but I think you're getting a little bit of that the same. But big on fuel cells and standby power supply, and a big pop out on that one. See if there's any kind of headlines on it to take a look at. Oh, wow, that is big news. I hadn't had a chance to take a look at this yet. Up fairly strongly. It has a non-precious metal catalyst for use in the first commercialized proton exchange membrane fuel cell product. If you're unfamiliar with fuel cells, they take oxygen and hydrogen and make water out of it, and the byproduct of that is electricity. And a lot of people have, in fact, Mr. Musk from Tesla have said that this is a fool's errand because no one's been able to really make these things without using platinum and a lot of other very expensive precious metals for the catalyst. If these guys actually do have a non-precious metal catalyst, this could be a huge game changer. And that's a big deal. I'm going to have to look a lot more into it. Eventually, you figure that someone's going to find the secret code for doing that. It beat by 2 cents too, so it's got a lot of good news. Maybe this one will be one of these that comes back from the grave, so keep an eye on that. But a huge move out of this one today. And if that is true, I would not be surprised to see this stock at $100 in a few years from now. Now, the question is it true? I've heard a lot of these stories. And, well, to this point, not a one of them has held any water. So we'll see. But at least the market for the moment is thinking maybe there is something there. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD, Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And Finish Line's been beaten like a red-headed stepchild, and last earnings really kind of whacked it. It's back and filling that gap today on an upgrade from Susquehanna. I don't put much in the way of upgrades, and this is another one of these upgrades that just seems rather self-serving and maybe the ability to run some shorts. But the question is anything truly changed since their earnings call? And I don't think so. But as they say, if you toss a cat off a high enough building, it will still bounce. But not much going on in that one other than the bounce. Let's see if there's anything else out here. I think we kind of talked about everything. CNC had a nice little pop out here. This is Centene Corporation. See if we get the headline on that. Come on. It's acquiring Fidelis Care to acquire substantially all its assets for $3.75 billion. Nonprofit Fidelis is leader in government healthcare plans, serving over 1.6 million members. It generated $4.8 billion in revenue for the 6-month period ending June 20th. The transaction will give Centene a leadership position in New York, adding to its leading presence in California, Florida, Texas, and the top 4 managed care states. So nice pop out here with some decent movement. Let's see if there's anything else. Just let's go back a little farther on this one and take a look at it. Just a nice pop. I don't see anything else out here that puts anything in that, but that's a valid breakout. I don't think you could say anything other than that. Looks like the market was kind of anticipating some of that as this thing continued to tick up on almost no volume. Somebody knew that some news was coming. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks we've been looking at over the last few days, like IBM. And we've been looking at this, at whether or not it's going to be able to make it back up to this gap down that happened on the 19th of August on earnings. 14.3 million shares down. And what do we got today? 2 million shares. The question is whether it can even make it up to 150 bucks. Don't see anything more out here. Last couple of days you had kind of a chance at maybe some energy coming in. 5.2 million shares yesterday, but just 2 million shares today. I think we were having kind of a little of a short squeeze in the last couple of days going into that quad witching. So we were probably fairly close, I suspect, to some a shirt there at Nordstrom. Okay, now I'm following you. Yes, very expensive Nordstrom stuff. Let's take a look at EGO. For one of our DIN members, Eldorado Gold. Nice spike out there. This is back up through its gap down on the 31st of July. That gap down had 9.9 million shares. We got 20 million shares in Eldorado Gold today. A nice little pop. I think they were talking about that earlier with some kind of news about that. So, got a few things. Let's take a look at. We already looked at Apple, so let's just see if any movement in any of the other big FANG stocks out here today. In fact, let's shorten this down a little bit so we can get a little tighter clap. Facebook's been trying to get back into this 175.49 high of July 27th, had 69 million shares. This is where a lot of these things start to look fairly weak. September 12th, yesterday, had 11.2 million shares. You got 6 million shares now. I wouldn't be shorting this one, but again, these things are for September have very light volume back on the right-hand side of the chart in FLX. We talked about this one. If you wanted to have bought it, it was making one of the best Wyckoff patterns that you could find. It gapped up on huge volume on the 18th of July, came back down and tested that gap up on August 21st, did so with half the volume, only 6.5 million shares, compared to that, 42 million share gap up. So that was everything you were looking for. I need a little bit more in this one. The energy's good but not great back here. And of course, when we actually look at the volume as we go back into those highs, yesterday 6.7 million shares. We only have about 3.3 million shares. Again, we're going into options expiration. So for the most part, you look at today's high, normally somewhere around 2 o'clock in the afternoon is the high for the week. Tomorrow you get a little bit of a pullback. You normally get a little bit more a push going into on Friday. And if you're going to have some failures in the stock or in stocks, you start looking ahead to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, where a lot of the weakness that I see in this market could continue on. So I think not right now, but it looks like a few of these could pull back. Volume very light. Let's take a quick look at Amazon. Is this thing, if I can type it correctly, AMZN. I tell you what, when you get used to a keyboard, you just can't use one of these standard keyboards anymore. I've been using, for 10 years, more? The ergonomic keyboards from Microsoft, and I just cannot even start to type anymore on a regular standard old Dell keyboard like they have here. Very tough. I always want to hit the caps lock instead of the shift key. Okay, so we're back up into August 15th's high, 991.74. We got to 994 today with we're going to call this 2.2 million shares right now. So that pretty much puts us in a little bit more volume than the August 15th high, but nothing to write home about. You would think that if you were going to think this thing was going to fail, which I do not, other than the fact that one day you get some anti-trade legislation out of the Justice Department, which could always happen. I think that, a handful of these stocks, the only way you can play them are with options, because these could see massive moves lower, and you probably want to be on the positive side of Amazon. Not a lot of reasons, but the risk, I think, is just too high of actually holding the equity in Amazon. Anyway, the question is whether you're going to make it back up to this 1030 area. Yesterday we talked with one of the callers about FedEx and UPS. It's very tough to go into a fall selling and Christmas season and not think Amazon is just going to eat everybody in the future. I don't see anything changing. I don't think the malls are coming back. And stores like Finish Line, going to be very tough. And, of course, Nordstrom's. I can't see it. But I don't know. It's their money. We'll be back after this.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to open your portfolio to a world of opportunity, consider the new market-safe emerging currency CD from Everbank. This 3-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 5 equally weighted currencies from Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, and Turkey at a time when experts see great potential for global growth. Even better, it features a 7.0 leverage factor, which means you could earn a potential market upside payment of 7 times the CD's performance at maturity with no cap if the currencies increase in value over the CD's term. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. Don't miss out. The September 28th funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we have a request to take a look at the TLT, so let's do that. And in the TLT, we talked about this one having that huge volume and then closing and gapping down the next day. So that kind of looked like an exhaustion move as we broke through the 127.78 of June 26th. So you've got high volume, so you think you're going to retest that. It's kind of interesting, though, that this thing is a little different. Let's look at this one a little longer time frame. And you really just kind of filled this huge gap that goes back to the 9th of November of 2016. That was, 31.2 million shares. So when we go back and look at that, that's really what you were looking for. So 13 million shares is great, but man, you were running into that a massive amount of resistance at that level. Even though you pierced it with some decent volume comparatively, that probably does kind of signal an exhaustion move to the upside. When we look at the energy from the May 11th low to the June 26th high, then we compare the run from July 7th up to that September 7th high, the energy basically came down about 10-12%. Now that's not a monster amount, but it was lighter. And I think you ran a lot of shorts on that September 7th day. And now that you're back into this trading range, I suspect that you could get back as low as this 122.05 July 7th. And if you're really thinking this is going to go higher, the TLT, that you may need a little bit more consolidation in this range before you go back and reattack that huge down day of the 9th of November 2016. So it's interesting. See what else is out here. Request to look at the SMHs. SMH real quickly. Again, these things have been kind of tagging the highs. You had a huge reversal at this on June 9th at 89.72 with 8.9 million shares. So let's call it 9 million shares. Yesterday you had 2.4 million shares. Today you got 2.5 million shares so far. So you're going to get a little bit more juice. But even if you look at the day just before the last major high on June 8th, you had 3.3 million shares. So being very charitable, you still don't have the juice up here. And you're kind of close out here. If you were to see a down day with volume that was anywhere close to a repeat of this June 9th reversal day. You would think that probably we're fairly close to the top in this. Now, I'm not saying that the wheels would fall off the wagon, but I do think that you could be in a much bigger trading range and maybe even get back down to 84.08 in this area. A few things could change that, but I think Intel would be the one. It's going to really have to turn around. AMD, we already found out, is not going to be that with the news lately. Let's turn that off for a second. Intel's back up to 3640. Things kind of played around back down to 3438. It too also has a volume problem. 3670 on August 8th had 23 million shares. Yesterday had 19.5 million shares. Today, just 9 million shares. You go a few ticks higher. So again, I think a few of these are kind of in a trading range. And like I said, I think that the market's a little over the tips of its skis right now, and that we could see a fairly decent air pocket hit. And it could all come kind of at once. But that's kind of been the history of the market for the last couple of months. We've had, very fast reversals, and everybody jumps in and buys them once again. This one looks even more strained than the ones, the two previous down moves before. Take a look at question to look at Priceline. PCLN. Keep them coming in the den. You can private message me there, and I could see it from the account of TFNN, host, a radio. But you can also call me at 877-927-6648. Priceline, of course, gap down, continued to go down to 1774, which is the August 29th high. August 29th low. You had about 500,000 shares down. But of course, the real thing was this huge gap down on the 9th of August with 2 million shares. Yesterday, 345,000 shares. Today, 164,000 shares. This one certainly had volume off the top. I would like to see something like 1950 on this thing to short it, but we may not ever get that. Question in the SMHs, which I did say, I think that this is certainly a topping candidate, and I'm not predicting the end of the world on it, but I do think that at best you're probably in a higher trading range, and that could bring you back to 84.08. So there may be a play in there. The thing is, does that happen before quad witching, or does that happen on Monday and Tuesday? And at the moment, unless something drastically changes, I'm thinking that maybe either Friday midday or Monday or Tuesday, we can look for some kind of downturn in this market. I think there's just too much money right now being pushed. Even with Apple's pullback, people are going after anything else. But that's it. Another question about taking a look at Skyworks Solution SKWS, SWKS, right? Yeah, that's it. I said this one is, of course, the canary in the coal mine for Apple. And if this thing really doesn't have big movement today, then Apple probably is not going to fall apart today. This one doesn't look all that bad so far. Yesterday, you had 1 million shares. The day before that, 1.3 million shares. Today, you just have a little less than 600,000 shares. So I don't see anything in Skyworks Solutions that actually confirms Apple is over. My thought would be that Apple probably is going to see a little bit of buying for the next few days. There are a lot of people that are true 100% believers. Apple can't go down. But I think I wouldn't be shorting it, but I would be looking at these like Skyworks Solutions. So nothing today, but I think we can be looking at these maybe in the next couple of days, and maybe that is what's going to move those SMHs lower, is this supply chain for Apple. but there's less. They're heavily dependent on Samsung, which is not a very easily tradable company. So look at Skyworks Solution. I think that's your best answer for what Apple's going to do, and not saying too much bad today. Be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien has just announced that he'll be coming to Boston September 30th for a free workshop, The Art of Timing the Trade. Join Tom O'Brien Saturday morning, September 30th at the Boston Marriott in Burlington, Massachusetts, as he breaks down his trading methodology and provides you with the tools to become a more successful and profitable trader. Everyone that attends in person will receive a free signed copy of Tom's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. Daryl Martin from Apex Investing Institute will also be presenting for 90 minutes at this free event.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Join me in Boston on September 30th as I return to my hometown for a workshop about the art of timing the trade. I look forward to seeing all the tigers and tigresses for this special free event.
All action starts early at 7:30 a.m. with a continental breakfast and wraps up at about 1 p.m. Topics that Tom will be covering during his presentation include quality volume, cause and effect, ABC structures, swing points, and much, much more. For all the information on this free Boston event taking place Saturday, September 30th, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
Had some questions during the break whether or not I thought anything else was important to talk about in the Apple ecosystem, and that is we know that Apple got in a big fight with Qualcomm and it's not going to use their modem chip. Then it came out that they were going to use Broadcom's chip. This is Avagos. So you can look at them as another way to go. But of course, what Qualcomm then put out is that, of course, as speeds get faster in LTE, the Broadcom chip is only about 75% as fast as the Qualcomm chip. And, of course, Samsung's using the Qualcomm chip in their unit. So if you really need some high-speed bandwidth, and I don't know whether or not you're going to need it or not, but certainly Qualcomm's crowing that the Broadcom chip is significantly speed impaired compared to theirs. So, you know, I don't know if they're going to continue to push this, but Apple got rather nasty in beating on Qualcomm because they wanted better prices. And I think they've, it's one of these things where I think Mr. Cook overstepped his bounds a bit. Now, Qualcomm I'm not saying run out and buy it, but it could be in the near future a fairly decent buy, just because everything I've read about that particular chip and the bandwidth issue with LTE seems to be true. So Samsung may have a big leg up and may actually start advertising the fact that their chip is far superior to the Avago Broadcom chip. And that could be something. I haven't seen anything after that little tiff about 6 weeks ago, but we could see that come again. Anyway, those are some stocks to look at in the Apple universe in the next couple of days. Keep an eye on those. Keep an eye on the sky. Sell when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.